We're going to get that changed too. I need to ask Austin before.
Yeah, but that's
Well, that was 30 pounds ago for me.
yeah. You know, it's good. But to lose 30 sucks. Talking about what Max Bill's talking about, if you think you can do better than the officials, I'll let you know how you can become one. I got to sitting there thinking, I'm like, I could just run up and down the field like they do. They got moves away.
It is 8:05. Hopefully Kurt has us on it. We'll find out after.
Well, good morning, Fremont County. This is Marshall Whitaker here in studio for WyoToday Sports Live, brought to you by Porter's, with the recently rediscovered Cody Beers.
Good morning.
And our very special guest today, athletic director of the Wind River Cougars and Lady Cougars, it's Todd Ghormley. Todd, how we doing, man?
Great. How are you, Marshall?
Man, I'm doing great. It's been a little while since you and I have gotten to connect, and so I am thrilled to have you in studio today as we get ready to look at fall sports. We do have abbreviated Cody Beers today. As you see the magic arm cast over there, he's going to have a little work done, and we're going to have to bid him adieu early in the program, but we are thrilled that he is back because last week all of Fremont County was going, we got to get Cody back. If we leave this guy on the air by himself, we're going to have problems.
I doubt that.
So, Todd, it's been a kind of a wild summer for you guys out at Wind River. Why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the changes that we're looking at heading into the fall season?
One of the things that we've got going on this year is after 1 year under my belt, I know what's what for the most part. And going into this fall sports season, our coaches are a little bit more prepared on what they need to do and how I can support them. We've already had our first coaches meeting and just kind of ran through my goals for the year and my goals for them and my hopes for them. We had some kids that were in the weight room all summer, so that was really good. Coach Anderson, he was running that weight room program and good numbers showing up. We had open gyms all summer, and I guess that's something that hasn't been done as consistently in a long time. So, I mean, it's really, really a good thing to see stuff like that. I mean, it makes you happy to see kids getting in, putting in the work in the off season. Our cross country kids, I've been picking on them a little bit as I run into them and ask them if they're running. It sounds like they are. So I think we're going to see a really good fall season.
Well, new man at the helm with football to start off. Troy Anderson, of course, the former Riverton coach. Tell us how he's come out to Pavilion and started to fit into your program.
Coach Anderson's been on staff already as an assistant coach for a number of years. It was really a no-brainer transition to move him up into a head coach position. He's got an eye for the game. He loves it. He's spending a lot of time with the kids, going over game plans, letting them know what the expectations are. I think that moving him up is going to be a really, really good fit for us. And like I said, he's been running the weight room this summer. He's already kind of talked to me about practices and kind of what those are going to look like. And I'm excited.
Well, the practices will get underway Monday.
Yes, sir. Monday.
All right.
Yeah, it's always exciting as we get into this time of year. We again this year I'll be calling Fremont County Game of the Week, so I've got several Wind River games on the calendar to broadcast on our WyoToday family of networks, and we're excited to see what happens. What are some of the things you're looking forward to with football season this year? What are some things we ought to be looking for with the kids on the field, you think?
We've got some kids that are recent additions to our school district. We had our open house last night, and I saw a couple kids, good-sized kids, walking the halls. I'm like, okay, what sport are you playing this fall? And a good chunk of them were, I'm playing football. I said, That's awesome. I'm very excited for you. So, be looking for some new faces out there. We've got some young guys that are coming up. We had some real hammers from 8th grade year moving up. I'm really excited to see what those guys do. We spent a lot of time. Coach Anderson needs to truly get all the credit for that. We've got a bunch of JV games that we've added this year.
Yep.
We're going to be playing those on Mondays. And I'm really excited to see just our young guys get some exposure to the football field. Because as you guys know, it's always kind of a scary situation for coaches, stakeholders, parents, administrators, when you're taking a freshman and putting them up against some stud junior, senior from some other school. It's not always a level playing field, but we got some hammers, and I'm really excited to see what we can do.
Well, development is the key in every high school sport, and to get those extra games is a big deal. And to have a leader like Troy coming in to do that, just as a feather in your cap, so to speak. And I know that spiked hair, you probably don't wear many caps, but it is what it is, Todd. And, let's talk about some of the other sports, cross country, volleyball. How are those programs shaping up?
Let's start with cross country. I got to go check out a new venue for our season opener. I'm not going to share where that is because I put a challenge out to the kids. I posted a couple of videos, and I ran the course with Coach Gronke. And as you guys know, I'm not much of a runner, but I can if I have to. And Coach Gronke was very kind to me about it. But we ran the course. I put a couple videos out previewing, and I'm really excited. It's going to be a nice change of venue. I think the kids are going to enjoy it. And like I said, it sounds like Coach Gronke has been encouraging his kids to run, so they should be coming in shape. I'm hoping that we boost our numbers. Last year, we were kind of low on our roster for cross-country boys and girls, but I see that growing a little bit.
So give us a hint. Let me ask two questions. Is it in Wyoming?
Yes.
Is it in Western Wyoming?
Yes.
All right.
There you go.
Leave it at that.
That's it. So if you know where it's at, kids, let Todd know, and he will give you a good pat on the back. But it's kind of a fun dynamic. So my first game broadcasting with WyoToday was Wind River last year, and as most people know, cameraman Declan is my son, and so cameraman Declan cornered Todd at that game, and he's like, "So can I come to school out here? Is there things I can do to be a part?" And you're so welcoming and so inviting. That was when my twins decided they were going back to public school after we had homeschooled them. Now they didn't come to Wind River, but that was kind of their push. Was he really enjoyed the environment of being at Wind River, the athletics, and since then, he and I, we were able to do football, we were able to do basketball, we were able to be a part of multiple events at that facility, and it really is just such a warm and inviting place. The fans are just incredible, and they really come out and support their teams. And I feel like that's something that doesn't always get enough recognition. It's just how important those communities are to those schools and the athletics that they are a part of. So beyond cross country, what else are we going to see fans coming out and support here in the fall out at Wind River?
Volleyball. I'm really, really excited. Coach Sierra Evans, this is going to be her second year coaching, and she did fantastic with the girls last year. I gave her lots of feedback throughout the year, and she was a little nervous. Even closer to the end of the season, just like, okay, am I doing it right? Like, should we be doing things differently? I had a lot of positive things to say about her. The team was a decent size last year. I'd like to see us grow that a little bit more, and I think Sierra's been doing a fantastic job with that. A new addition that I'm really excited to share is we have a new assistant coach, because as you guys probably remember, our previous assistant, he retired, and that was a tough loss, but really, really happy for him. But now we've hired Casey Sparks to join us, and she's been working with the girls during the summer, and she's got a mind for volleyball, and she's a new coach also. But I've told anybody who will listen, if you have an interest in coaching and you love kids and you want to make them better, we'll give you all the skills. And thankfully, she's got a lot of that talent already. And again, she knows a lot about volleyball, thank goodness, because that's not my forte, but I'm learning it as I go. It's been a lot of fun. I see us having a really good season this year. In fact, we've got a home volleyball tournament this year, which I'm really excited to host. I've never hosted a volleyball tournament ever in my life, but by golly, I think it's going to be really good. We're already starting to get all of those little details set up, and it's going to be a really, really cool season for these girls.
Have you talked the volleyball team into playing their games on wrestling mats? I know that's your forte.
You know, it was a non-starter. I was really hopeful, but you know, I think maybe the basketball program. They're my next target. You know, we can play on wrestling mats.
That's cool. How has the community embraced your move over from Wyoming Indian? I know you're such an outgoing guy. I mean, I miss you at Wyoming Indian games just because often I'd have to say, "Hey Todd, I'm having this issue with the internet connection. Could you help me get hooked up?" But I'll tell you, the thing that's improved us out at Wyoming Indian is just being able to sit down on the court and do broadcasts during basketball and during the winter when I'm out there. And, you know, you're talking about this warm and inviting environment at Wind River. I've never experienced that because I show up with Wyoming Indian to call games. As you know, that is a big rivalry between those two games, or between those two teams. And I guess that gets me into the next question. A lot of changes in the off season with the Activities Association. Wind River has moved to a different conference now. They will not play in the Southwest. Tell us how some of those changes are coming into play at the smaller schools in Wyoming, Todd.
You know, for us specifically, moving to the Northwest. Good to see you. Good to see you. You know, I guess historically, Wind River has been in the Northwest Conference, so it's not a big deal to us. It's just a slight transition. But for me, I've always had the idea that kids will play where we ask them to play. Yeah. You know, if you got kids that want to play and want to play to the best of their ability, they got to find good competition. We've played in the Southwest for a long time, it sounds like, and now we're going to move back to play some different people. You know, it's a great conference. The teams in the Northwest are really good. I'm really excited to see how we match up. You know, with across the state, I'm excited to see a little bit of a shakeup. I know that change is hard, but anytime that we can maybe change things just a little bit and try and make them better, I don't find that to be a problem. We might find that this is kind of a pain for a lot of us teams. Like, oh, I don't want to have to drive all the way over here or play these other teams, but realistically, we're in it for the kids. So, right. You know, if we can make it happen as educators, as coaches, as administrators, I say, great, let's do it.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the attitude that we all want to embody and that we want to have. It's going to be different. There's no doubt about it. I was looking at schedules and looking at things, and I'm like, I've never called this team before. What's this going to look like? And you know, it's going to be an adventure. But I do think it's going to be a fun adventure. It's going to give these kids a different experience, and I think those are positive ways to look at it. So it's just kind of a fun feel as we get into the season. You've definitely started to make your mark on Wind River athletics. It's starting to shape. It's starting to embody more of your personality, more of your energy, and I think those are good, positive changes. What is one thing that you're seeing that's maybe different now than from when you first got there?
Oh man. You know, I think interest. I think that there's always been kids who are interested in getting out and doing sports. I don't know what my predecessors were like in the hallways, but when I was hired, I was very upfront with Justin Walker and Troy Zickfoos and everybody else on the leadership team, saying, you know, I bang lockers. I get after kids in a good way. Sometimes I'll get after them in a way that's a little bit more constructive. Yeah. And you know, but I'm always going to be after them about, what are you doing? What sport are you playing? You know, that's who I am. I like to go and get kids into some activity. I don't care if you're this sport or that sport. I love talking to kids who say, "Oh, well, I'm a one sport athlete." You shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you want to go and play at the next level, statistically, you need to play more sports. So I always ask, like, what sport are you playing this fall?
Yeah.
Oh, what sport are you playing in the winter? Like, what are you doing in the spring? And, are you playing this? Oh, okay, so that means you're playing this other thing. Like, you're not playing this. That means you're doing this other. And the kids, I think the kids are gravitating towards that. Thankfully, kind of getting back to one of the things that Cody kind of asked me about the community. It's been a really cool transition moving to Wind River and being around such a supportive group of parents, kids, stakeholders, educators. And nothing against my old district. I love my time there. I've got some lifelong friends there. It's such a cool thing to move over to a new place where you build new relationships and get to know some new families. And thankfully, I already knew a good chunk of them, so the transition was a little easier for me probably than some other folks.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I did a highway safety presentation to your high school last year, and it was so funny because so many of the girls listen to my voice and they're like, "You're the guy from the radio. We know you. You've been at our games." And then I had one girl and she's like, "Oh, you were at that Wyoming Indian game." Oh no, the Thermopolis game. Like, "You were at that Thermopolis game." And I'm like, "You guys played great. Y'all are wonderful." And they go, "Well, thank you for that." And I'm like, "Guys, you get them next time. There's always next time." But they're like, we're glad. They're glad that they're out there. They want to be a part of those teams. They are thrilled that people come out and watch them. And I just think those that's what high school athletics is all about. It's connecting those kids to their community, giving them an opportunity to do something that's fun and enjoyable in the spirit of competition. And it really feels like Wind River is just growing into that so strongly right now. That it's really, really exciting to watch. So, any previews about what we're looking at coming up for winter and spring? Anything exciting changing there yet, or are we still kind of seeing what happens?
Well, I can't share with you who we've got, but I've got 2 coaches hired for the high school girls team. We're still looking for some high school boys basketball coaches. We've got some interest. It's going to be something that I think we're going to find the people. We got to find the right people because, as you guys said before, it's like my attitude, it's kind of infectious. I know that I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm very confident we're going to be able to find some men's basketball coaches and have a solid season. I know that we've got some great kids coming back for the boys basketball side of things. Our boys wrestling and girls wrestling teams, we lost a lot of big kids last year, a lot of upperclassmen, but we do have some great leadership coming back. The team might not be as big this year. It's always sucky to see a great coach like Coach Hunter leave, but he took an opportunity, and I'm really, really excited for him and his family moving on to his next job. So we're looking for a head coach on that front as well. Again, we've got some interest, and I think that the winter sports are going to be okay. I think we're going to do really well. We got great kids. Now we just got to find the right person to put in the helm of the high school boys basketball and then the high school wrestling. Track. We're bringing back a chunk of kids that were really, really fast. So, track is a learning experience for me. As I'd shared with you, there was so much going on, and me being a wrestling guy and a football guy, and I played every sport under the sun, but track wasn't something that I knew about, so it's been a lot of fun to watch and learn. And, Coach Klein, Coach Gronke, Coach Remackle, they've been helping me a lot. Coach Cunningham. I'm naming the 4 coaches we got for the youth, middle school, and then the high school. We're probably going to try and add one more youth, middle school coach because, again, Coach Hunter was a fantastic coach for us in that. I think it's going to be better. I got a year under my belt. I know what they're supposed to be doing, kind of, and I think that it can just get better from there.
Excellent. Well, Todd, I'm glad you were here with me today. Hey, Cody had to take off on us, but man, it is always good to get to sit down and visit with you, and I am thrilled about what Wind River's looking like this year. I know that the rest of Fremont County is excited to find out. So where can they find your sports schedules? Where can they find out what's going on with Wind River and when your games are, who you're playing. Where's that at?
Well, I've spent a lot of time trying to get everything up on Dragonfly this year. So if you're not familiar with Dragonfly, we put all of our high school schedules up on there. I'm going to try and put our middle school, youth, junior high stuff up there. But I was recently able to take some time, put all of our current schedules up on our website. So if you go and look up Wind River Schools in Google, you'll find our website. There's an athletics page. And on that athletics page, down at the bottom, there's a link to each individual sport. So all of those are there. I have to say, I haven't quite gotten to a team photo yet, but that's going to be on the next, one of the next things I get done is get an updated team photo on that website.
Man, that's great. And that helps me so much as we try to get into the schools with Safer Roads Wyoming and do our highway safety presentations, encourage kids to not drive distracted, not drive impaired, and to buckle up. And so having those schedules out and in front of us makes it so much easier, for fans to plan and be a part. And we want you to be a part of the Wind River community out there. Go out and support those teams. It's going to be a great season. Todd, thank you so much for being with me today. And Fremont County, thank you so much for listening in. This is Marshall Whitaker without Cody Beers. And we want you guys to be safe, buckle up, and we'll see you next week.